we talk about with the origin story of Client Giant, the self-audit, looking at the reviews, it's like you have to be very, very open to you're doing things wrong or not satisfactory or whatever, even when things are great. And I think that's actually the most dangerous part of someone's business is when things are going great, when you're riding that wave, because when going well, you're like, you don't even see your blind spots.
What I used to help tech founders with, like one of the most important things, let's say you're creating a mobile app. I used to say, stop using it yourself because you know how to use it. And you think that things are great. You think it works perfectly. You think the whole experience jives. Throw a party with 25 people, put it in their hands. Don't tell them a thing and watch what happens. They are going to have problems. They're going to see things and you're going to watch them see things that are shitty experiences because they're going through it. You as a business owner, you're like, oh no, we've got to Welcome back to another episode of the Who Cares podcast, the podcast for business leaders, entrepreneurs, change makers, difference seekers, tattoo artists, bungee jumpers who do care. I'm Jeff Jackel.
I'm Jay O'Brien. I'm Ja O'Brien. Would you ever go bungee jumping?
Gosh, I mean, I was going to do a line from What About Bob? Well, if the captain is experienced and the boat is seaworthy, I don't see why not.
If your friend is a good sailor and the craft is seaworthy, yes, I will go sailing. Yeah, let's go sailing.
I don't have a desire to go bungee jumping. No, I'm not like a thrill seeker like that.
Yeah.
Would you?
No.
Why not?
Bungee jumping is just terrifying to me.
Why?
It's just like the gnarliest free fall. Like, I'm just not all about it. It's just terrifying.
What about skydiving?
I've done that.
I don't understand.
That was a piece of cake.
So bungee jumping is a gnarlier free fall than skydiving?
Yeah. Because the plane's not stopped up there, you know?
Oh, so you're saying the adrenaline's flowing because you're moving around, you're doing your thing.
And the plane's moving forward. I don't know. You don't feel your stomach like drop.
Wait, I knew you when you skydived in like a place, it was like a shitty place.
I did.
Like it was terrifying that you did it.
Yeah.
Was it South Africa?
It sure was.
Yeah.
It was really like dinky plane.
That's what I mean.
And there were 6 of us that fit in it. It almost was like a coffin. Like everyone was kind of like laying on top of each other. So it was like
6 people. So the plane was small enough.
Plus the pilot. So like it was like, 3 pairs, right? So I'm like laying on the chest of my instructor, right?
3 customers with their instructors.
But then 2 and 2 kind of all laying on top of each other. And there was no like clearance, you can't stand in there, right? Or anything like that. So it's very shallow. So you're, it's almost like you're kind of like laying in this vessel, like this coffin. And then once you got up there, they open the door and they're like, all right, first one's out. And so like you kind of like shimmy, because there's not room to walk, kind of shimmy there. And you're like, all right, I guess we're just going to like jump out of this thing now.
How is this less like terrifying than bungee jumping? Like what's a bungee jump? 60 feet, 50 feet?
Well, bungee
basically,
jumping.
You trust a parachute more than you trust a rubber band.
Yeah, and I'm with an instructor who's done it thousands of times, and honestly, it was just more interesting to me. Like I was like, bungee or skydiving in Cape Town. It's like that sounds sick, and so I did that. But when I went to Victoria Falls and saw the bungee jumping situation, it looked terrifying.
I've never thought about this because they're not 2 things that I even think about or consider. I would guess if you really dug deep, if a lot of people, I don't know if this is a common feeling, but I would guess if you really dug
trauma.
No, I would guess if you really dug deep, the big difference maker is that you're not jumping alone. Like the idea, there's some sort of comfort in that. Like if shit goes wrong here, this other guy's dead too.
That's definitely true. But even still, if I was skydiving solo, I'd rather do that than bungee jump.
Wow.
Yeah,
okay.
There's something about it that just is like this
gnarly
free fall off a cliff. I mean, especially in Victoria Falls, you jump off and like you're just looking at all these sharp rocks down there.
What about a bridge? What about when it's just a bridge and it goes?
It is a bridge. In fact,
water below, but water at that height is as hard as concrete.
Well, if you look, there's a YouTube video, 2012 Victoria Falls bungee jump. This is like, I don't know if it's the biggest one in the world. I think Queen Elizabeth, or I forget the name of it, is the highest. But it's one of the most renowned ones. The cable snapped in 2012, and this like Australian tourist ends up in the water, floating down.
But lived.
And there's like crocodiles and shit in there, and I mean, mind you, your legs are tied together, right?
Yeah, shit, the thing
lived.
snaps, you can't get your feet out. I never thought about that.
You can't get your feet out. Yeah, she lived, but like, I mean, a place like Victoria Falls, just like, you know,
she break anything?
The guys running the show, they're just like looking at each other like, that's not good.
Yeah. Ooh, that's never happened before.
Yeah, but no, I'm just not. Even if I knew because I actually don't think I'm gonna die. Right? It's not like if I had 100% certainty I'm gonna live, which I actually kind of do feel that I do have that certainty. I still wouldn't do it because it's just scary.
Oh, I like that. All this from me just randomly saying bungee jumping. You know what's funny?
Yeah.
Maybe from now on I'll just add that extra, you know, for change makers and
little
businesses.
hint.
Yeah, I'll just be like, and, you know, OBGYNs who do? And you'd be like, you ever think about being an OBGYN? Like, whatever I say,
Yeah.
you know,
Sure.
that's maybe what starts it off. And then we can every time waste 5 minutes and 48 seconds of people's lives.
I don't want to do that. I had an experience last night, as well as 2 weeks ago, that I felt like I wanted to get your take on. Two particularly cool spots that I went to.
Spots?
Yeah, like one was a hotel and one was a restaurant. And, you know, these are like, you know, what they have going for them is the cool factor. They're cool. They're hip. They're funky. They're fun, whatever.
Says who?
I don't know. It's just that vibe, I guess.
Okay.
So is that enough to stay in business? Is that enough to be relevant for a long time? Because we've seen businesses come and go for decades, you know, that are like, we're at the top of the chain, nothing we need to do to innovate, nothing we need to do to change things, i.e. BlackBerry, who will remain nameless. And then what do you know? They're gone, out of business, done. And these two instances, I'm like, the service was so not on the mark that I'm like, this is not sustainable. And I can only imagine the ownership either doesn't know about it or is like, it doesn't matter. People are going to keep buying the shit no matter what.
First, before I answer, I need to know whether, because we both have so many emotional, personal ties to the resort that you're talking about, whether we're just going to have them remain as nameless as BlackBerry.
Yeah.
We are. We're not going to.
Yeah. I don't want to like throw them under the bus. They're
okay.
With what happened, with business ethics.
The thing about ethics.
They were trying to right wrongs, but it was just very sloppy. The whole process was terrible. Like they got the wrong people working the front desk, you know, it is that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, because on that one, so it goes into my answer, but I won't talk about where they are. Okay. So first of all, I think, of course not. Being cool is not future proofing. Because cool is fleeting, and what's cool changes.
Can you think of something that was once cool that isn't anymore, that kind of rode the wave of coolness?
Are you kidding me? I lived in Los Angeles in the early 2000s. Like, name any club or restaurant that opened up there that was like the hot spot for
so what's the
6
problem?
months, 2 years, and then it was like, bye. Like, and by the way, it was by design. Like, I at one point worked with these guys. That was called the Dolce Group. It may or may not still exist. It was like restaurant tours, but they also had investors who were, you know, celebrities, and they would like the cast of that 70s show was part of it. They actually did the restaurant that I worked for when I was 22 or whatever. They opened, I mean, I think they did it by design. Like, I think that they had a 2 or 3 year plan where they knew it was only gonna be cool for this long, and like by that point their lease was up. They're going to the next one. Let's like open a new cool thing.
Oh,
like,
that's interesting.
I think that they relied on this idea that, you know, you're cool for a minute, especially in a metropolitan area.
I understand things fizzle out. Like everything's going to be cool at first, and then like later in life it becomes less novel. But you know what I'm talking about? These two places have actually been around for a long time. These aren't like new trendy spots or anything. They've been around for, you know, decades.
I don't think just being cool and BlackBerry is a totally different topic. I think that is different than something with cool factor. I think that is, and technology and things that we use in our regular everyday life, I think problem or failures that companies have and run into that makes them obsolete or basically makes an incumbent lose out is a totally different thing. So let's talk about that. We'll pin in that and then we'll come back. For cool factor places, restaurants, hotels, etc., I think they can, like, a vibe is great. But especially if you're trying to, or you're servicing a certain demo, they're pretty discerning. Maybe it's like they have a lot of disposable income. They're going to a bunch of different places. Like the core shit you have to get right. The core experience, the core I mean, we've talked about it in restaurants a whole bunch, but like, and I actually don't think, I mean, it is like your top one's lighting and music and whatever, but I mean, those things can't save a place if it has shitty service, if they don't treat you well, if the food is not good, if the whatever, like, so I think the key things have to be there without question, because a vibe is going to get somebody in the door. It's never going to get them to come back.
Let me walk you through my experience last night. Okay. This particular place.
Could we talk about this? We can't. We don't.
I'd rather not name the name.
Jesus Christ.
It's a hip, fast casual type of restaurant.
There's like 3 locations, right?
2, I think.
In the world.
I think so.
Okay.
So this place definitely got a vibe. Really good vibe. Loud music. Okay. The fast casual thing, I don't love. Especially for this location, I don't think it works at all. To order at a podium and then go sit down just does not work. Get me a server. The food is very, very good. Okay, it's not fast casual vibe food.
I've still never been to this place.
The food is incredible. Okay. Great brunch spot, great lunch spot, great dinner spot. So
who are they catering to? Am I going there with my kids?
You could. And it's very casual. So
what's an entree cost for dinner?
It can be pricey actually. So if it's dinner and it's like steak, you're probably $50.
Fast casual ordering at a podium, a $50 steak is just an absolute no go for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, let's not forget Sizzler. You will like this place, okay? The vibe is good, the food is good, the service is not good, and the service is not good because there really is no service. If you think about it, you go to the podium, you order, you take a number, and then someone drops it. So no one takes responsibility for the table, right? It's not the person at the podium's job. It's not the person who's just the food runner.
Drinks.
So that's the biggest problem with this business model. Is yes, drinks are included in this. So if you want a second drink, your ass is getting up and waiting in a line at a podium. In which case you're just like, never mind, right? They even had, but now they have this QR code that you can scan at the table. It's like, skip the line, like, want a second round or something like that. It's clunky. Like, I think that only works if your tab's still open or something.
Is there a bar that you can walk up to?
There is a bar, yeah. If you sit at the bar, you get full service. But obviously, limited number of seats there.
You ever been to Crack Shack on 17th Street in Newport?
Yes.
So they are a similar way.
Yeah,
the price point's different. But
yeah.
But once you sit down, now I'm just going to I just start a tab at the bar and I walk up to the bar.
Right. So either way though, like no, because they don't really want you walking up to the bar. You got to be sitting at the bar.
All right.
Anyway,
Strike two.
So let me walk you through what happened last night. So I go there with my wife, brother-in-law, mother-in-law, and Saya. Okay. So I've been there. I know what to order, right? They don't. So already you're creating a bottleneck. I'm at the podium. The second people are behind me, it's like, so they know what they want. They got to wait for me, right? This is already bottleneck number 1, right? I should just be sitting down, like looking over the menu, right? So the guy's like, you can go grab a table, sit down, look over the menu, come back. Okay. So I do that. You come back. If there's a line, you're like, I was first in line. Now I'm fourth in line. This is stupid. Okay. So you.
Is it a big menu?
No. It's not big, it's not small, but
because by the way, if this is a problem for you, it's a way bigger problem for everyone, because you take 2.5 seconds to pick what you're gonna eat.
Yeah, so for me, I know what I want. I don't need to think anything over. I just don't want to rush the people I'm with who've never been there. You know?
Yeah.
So anyway, we get it figured out. I go up to the podium, I place the order. One of the things in the order was a glass of Sauvignon Blanc for my mother-in-law. They go, we're out of Sauvignon Blanc. I go, oh. Okay. Let's do this Italian white that you have on the menu. He goes, okay. You know what? I'm so sorry. We don't have that either. And I go, okay.
What do you have?
Okay. Let's just do a glass of Chardonnay. He goes, I think we actually don't have any white wine. And I go, can you find out? And mind you, the line's stacking behind me, right? So people are like, can this guy hurry up? I'm like, can this guy hurry up? So he goes to the bar, talks to someone, comes back, and he goes, okay, we can do the Chardonnay. Okay, cool. Also, I'm going to do the strawberry margarita. He goes, I'm so sorry, we have no ingredients for the strawberry margarita.
What?
The menu's not that big. So you have a problem. Maybe you shouldn't even be open today. So I just keep making concession after concession with like 4 different items that I'm ordering. Like, okay, I guess I'll just do this. Okay, I guess I'll just do that. So I place the whole order. I give the guy my credit card, and he goes, oh, that won't be necessary. Is the card ending in 1047 okay? And I look at my card number, I'm like, that's not my card number. He's like, someone already took care of it. Like, and I was like, oh God, my mother-in-law must have come up here and like, before I even sat down, said she's picking up the tab or something like that. I was like, oh, wow. Okay, cool. Do I need to take a number? He's like, nope, you're all set. You're number 22. Okay, great. I go sit down. There's no number on our table. I'm like, that's weird. Maybe they just know. So I go, hey, Carol, thank you so much for picking this up. That was really nice of you. You didn't have to do that. Mind you, the bill was like a little over $200.
She goes, I didn't do it.
She goes, what are you talking about? I'm like, you didn't pick up the tab? I look at Alex. Did
they have your phone number or anything?
No.
Okay.
And so I'm like, are you guys messing with me? Like, someone picked this up. And then she's like, no, I swear I did. I'm like, okay, this is going to be interesting to see how this thing shakes out. But I'm not going to go get back in line to figure this out now. You know, I'll figure it out when we're all done.
Yeah.
And probably they'll figure out before I do.
Sure.
You know? So we're sitting there waiting, and like, eventually this gets sorted. They start bringing stuff out one at a time, whatever. This guy comes back like 10 minutes later, and he goes, hey. He didn't know how to like apologize for the thing. He just goes, hey, I was wrong. Can I borrow a card?
Borrow?
That's what he said. Can I borrow a card? I'm like, yeah, dude. And so he comes by with the thing. I swipe. The bill is $50 less than it just was up at the podium. And you know me, I don't even look at the itemized stuff. I just figure, yeah, that's about ballpark for what I ordered.
But I think I was guessed halfway through what happened. Did you find out what happened?
No, I didn't care. I just paid it and then moved on with my life.
I think he didn't total out a previous person that was ahead of you. There was probably $50 worth of food.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
So either way, it's like the bill's wrong, the line thing, there's no food available at the restaurant. Like the list goes on and on and on.
Sure.
And I've tried emailing ownership at this restaurant before.
Oh, so this isn't the first time that you've had a bad experience?
It's normally not this bad. Normally it's just a matter of, hey, you guys are really missing out on revenue because of your business model. I get that it works for your Laguna location. It does not work here.
Yeah.
And like you need to hear about it, you know?
Yeah. But I mean, the experience has been significant enough that you have reached out multiple times.
Yeah, never heard back. So this one of those things, like the reason I bring it up for today's topic is like, someone's got to be getting these emails, right? Yeah. It has to be one of those things of like, A, we crush it in Laguna. B, we're so hip and cool in a hip and cool spot in Costa Mesa. Like, I don't need feedback,
Is
right?
it busy always? I mean, that one's been open for how long?
Actually, surprisingly, no. Like when it first opened, it was packed. Now it's not at all. It's like decent, you know, it's maybe 50%. But the Laguna one is always packed.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? So anyway, that combined with the hotel experience I had from a few weeks ago, I was just thinking, what's up with this? Is that people are just like, I don't need to listen to feedback when I'm cool?
You never told me that there was anything negative about the hotel experience.
Yeah. Oh yeah. They messed up the whole check-in process, gave us the wrong room. Like I planned this weeks in advance, like secured the exact room that we would be in with the concierge,
which is more important now because you have a baby that you're
that's the whole thing. I mean, honestly, I wouldn't have even booked the trip had we gotten the room that they put us in. They moved us the next day.
Oh, that's the worst.
But see, that's the problem is
because there's only 2 nights, right?
Yeah. You're so like, for them in their head, they think they're solving the problem. We will move you tomorrow. Rest assured. They tried upgrading us to different. Like, you're not solving anything. Like I don't mean to be a baby. I just wouldn't have come.
Right.
Right. Like if you're gonna put me in a room not looking at water, I might as well be home. And at home, I actually am looking at water.
You are looking, yeah.
You know, so the whole thing was a mess, and there was like maybe 4 or 5 different situations tied to that experience too.
My God, I don't know honestly how this happens. Like when a place is hot and buzzing and great, and the resort that we're talking about had maintained a really high level of perceived value, or not perceived value, but like it was a cool factor, and also it was great. Like service was great for over a decade. I mean, they've been around for a really long time, but like they got hot, like really hot. Everybody's going there in like the early or mid 2000s, let's say. And they were great for, honestly, I think right up until COVID.
Yeah.
But like
COVID,
every time I've been there
over.
since.
It was over after COVID.
Yeah. Every time since then, it's been wow, they were the example of that I would always use, like when we talk about stuff at the club or when somebody's talking about like amazing service at a pool or amazing cocktail service where you're like just trying to enjoy a place and somebody's always there every couple of minutes of like, can I get you another of this or whatever? Just constantly having people in rotation moving around. They were so good with that. And I don't know, or maybe they can't get good help back. Maybe it's not.
Well, that's a huge part of it. That's definitely a huge part of it. But what boggles my mind is that my feedback, sure, I want a better experience, but really, like, forget about me. Pretend like I don't even matter. It's a self-serving thing for them. Like, it's more dollars in your pocket, you know? If I have a server coming up constantly asking to refill beverages and stuff, I'm just going to have a knee-jerk yes, right?
Sure.
There's another $50 on the tab, you know, no problem. Same with like being at a pool, you know, if someone's looking at you and you still have half of your cocktail left and they're thinking ahead, like, hey, can I get you another one? You're just like, yeah, just keep them coming, right?
Yeah.
Like, but if
you just solved the problem for me.
But if it goes any certain amount of time where you don't have the drink anymore or whatever, and you just lose steam, where you go, let's just wrap up. Maybe we should head back to the room. Hey, let's just go to the next place. Hey, let's just go home. And that's what happened yesterday. It happens all the time. So it's a net negative to the business outside of experience. It's a net negative to the P&L.
I think where these things come from, or the source of people missing the mark on these things, is it's not an intangible, but it's like, first of all, I don't think people really actually understand that, which is weird if they're in hospitality, if they're in the restaurant space. Like, that is a very nuanced thing to think about, that like when we sat with Jeff and Oliver, like they get that 100%. But I think most people, even probably pretty good restaurateurs, are not like, they've got so much on their plate that if they don't have a person that is specifically there just to do experience at that like nuance or granular level, it's something that easily gets missed. But I think probably more likely than that is just staying on top of whatever their SOP is for their wait staff.
Yeah. So at Best Buy and a lot of retail locations, you'd have mystery shoppers, you know, and I think that was a genius concept.
Undercover Boss, dude. You ever watch that show?
Yeah.
Great.
But like a mystery shopper would come up and you don't know when you got one, right? And then, you know, if all of a sudden a couple weeks later you're in your manager's office and they're like writing you up or giving you a final, right? Or even firing you in some cases, you're like, oh shit, this is because of like, I've helped 200 customers in the last 2 weeks and
one of them was a mystery shopper.
And one of them was a mystery shopper.
How often did they do that?
All the time. I mean, there'd be a mystery shopper at minimum like once a month, and you never knew if you got the one or not, right? So
what a cool job.
Yeah, but they should do that if they don't already in the restaurant space. Like, obviously you have food critics that come in, you kind of got to be on it, but like for someone just come in and you don't know, they're just their average customer who's going to dine in and whatever, and like report back on what was the SOP, what was the experience like.
What would you guess the percentage of restaurants, let's just like take it to restaurants alone, what would you guess the percentage of restaurants is that does that has people coming in to just check their service?
I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that a place like Ocean 48 does.
Okay, for sure.
I guess what it boils down to is a company that feels that it's worth investing in, right? Because you're saying like, I want to invest in this feedback.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. I wonder how many people view that as, like we talk about all the time, view that not as a vitamin, like as a very essential part to making sure that things are happening the way they, because first of all, step one to believing that would be worth the time and money is you have to have already had a very strict set of standards put in place in order to check them, right? Otherwise it's all kind of just like nebulous. So you'd basically be saying like, okay, here's the things. I'm assuming that these work. I didn't even know. I mean, I guess I hadn't thought about it, but these businesses must exist, so that where they literally are hired to bring in these shoppers or these diners or these whatever.
Yeah.
So you literally say, okay, here are the top 5 things that I want you to check, because otherwise the person wouldn't know. They can't just give like a review. It's not like a food critic. It's
no,
like,
there's definitely an SOP there. So like in a restaurant, it would be,
how long did it take for them to bring you your drink?
When did they drop the check? Did they offer dessert?
Yeah.
How did they offer? Did they ask if it was a special occasion? Did they ask if you've been here before? Did the host or hostess talk to you while they were walking you to the table? You know, things like that.
Sure.
And at Best Buy, same thing. You know, you sell these extended warranties and you offer these things. So they'd be like, was it offered? You know, and you just go through the whole list.
Well, now they do it. You don't go into stores.
No, I don't.
So, but like now, a Best Buy or a place like that, they'll ask you through the checkout process. Did somebody ask you for a warranty? Did somebody like they'll literally check in on their staff. They do that at fast food places. Did somebody greet you when you first came in? Like they'll ask you those things. As part of that, and so they're just taking a I guess statistical answer to that versus having somebody come in as a mystery.
I think it's important to just constantly have, I mean, it's like what we talk about with the origin story of Client Giant, the self-audit, looking at the reviews. It's like you have to be very, very open to you're doing things wrong or not satisfactory or whatever, even when things are great. And I think that's actually the most dangerous part of someone's business is when things are going great, when you're riding that wave.
Well, okay, so yes, 100%. I'll use an example that's similar. I'll call them out because I love the place and they've since changed it. So I'll just
Did you say love or loved?
I still love the place. I don't go there much, but I because I lived in Corona Del Mar. Rose Bakery in CDM.
Yeah, that's there.
Yeah, okay. No, of course I know it's there, but like, do you ever go there?
I've been there once.
Okay. So I lived in CDM. It was walkable. I went there all the time. It has always been packed for breakfast anyway. Packed kind of for lunch, but like breakfast is like you're waiting in line, right?
Yep.
This is close to 20 years ago, 18, 19 years ago. Their whole setup. First of all, I don't know how the fire department even allowed them to like do this, to stay open and do this. But like their whole setup where you would go in, the people are coming out where you'd go in, the place that you had to stand to try to get coffee, like there's somebody bumping into you, you can't get anything. You got the food runners that are running through, like there's literally like a I don't know, 18-inch gap where the food runners would have to run in and out where the line actually is. It was preposterous. But they were cranking. And the owner was a really nice guy. I would go in, I wrote multiple letters, 4 or 5 letters like, hey, I've calculated this for like, there's nothing in this for me. And I was probably just some like shitty little kid that's like, telling him his business. But I'm like, I honestly believe that you can make a couple of really small changes. I even remember making diagrams and showing them here. If you entered only from this and you exited from here, because could be 2 doors, you could probably like increase the velocity with which people order. You could add another check stand. You could have all this kind of stuff. And like the way that you have it doesn't work. I've left multiple times. I see 5 people leave out of a line of 20 every time I'm there. He never replied to a single one. And it was awkward because I wouldn't like, he knew that it was me that was writing letters. I would hand them to him sometimes. And just nothing. Never. Just never. And then eventually, I don't know, 8 or 10 years later, they shut the place down for 3 months or whatever it is, completely remodeled the whole thing. And now it's set up. They did it the opposite direction, but pretty much how I had said, here's how it should be done. But I always thought, even if they know that they could improve something and that you're giving them feedback, the hotel feedback, the restaurant feedback, if they're cranking and making money and it's working, they're kind of like, who the fuck are you? They're literally like, or they're just like,
and in a lot of situations, I'm not even telling someone how to fix their business. Like this fast casual restaurant example, right? This is my feedback, at least. There might be a completely viable excuse as to why they can't operate like that, right?
Yeah.
Hey, we've run the numbers, having the service, it does not pencil, even if we have lost revenue on drinks 25% of the time, like whatever. Maybe they've thought this through, but I haven't even been able to express my feedback, right? That's the part where it's like,
oh, you mean?
I mean, people give us feedback all the time on our services, right? Like, have you ever considered doing it this way or this way, or whatever? It's like, give it all, right? And we actually keep track of it all. We monitor it all. We read through all of it every month. Like, sometimes it turns into a feature. Sometimes it turns into a change. Other times it's an explanation to the customer saying, hey, hear you. We actually don't do it that way. Here's why. And they go, oh, that actually makes sense.
What you're saying is you've given the feedback, but it's not being acknowledged. No one's even responding.
No, I haven't given the feedback because there's no one to give it to. I'm saying, hey, I'm trying to reach someone. I have feedback. No, and there's no response.
I thought you were actually giving feedback in the email or whatever you've sent, like with the restaurant.
I don't think I've actually outlined it in the email stuff. I might have like a long time ago, but anyway, the point is, yeah, it's super dangerous to ride that wave because when shit's going well, you're like, you don't even see your blind spots.
Yeah, or when you see them, you don't care because you can't imagine that's going to
and
turn
normally
the thing negative.
The person in charge, like in this Rose Bakery, that's probably not the owner who you're handing these things to.
He is. In this case,
really?
He's the owner. He and his wife are the owner.
Because lots of times it's like, it's the GM or someone who's just like got it. You know, I make a salary and we're doing great, and I'll do this until I don't. Right.
Well, okay. So going back to the thing you were talking about earlier, like the difference between that and a tech company like a BlackBerry or some sort of huge incumbent who just like totally should have done this and then didn't. Blockbuster, probably the best example ever. Right?
Yeah.
Like, we've got this category covered. We're the number one. We're, oh, wait, streaming's coming in? Oh, well, people are going to still keep coming to the video store and doing whatever. And on getting their videos and watching them every Thursday and Friday.
I wish they did.
I fucking loved that experience. I absolutely loved walking through.
Everyone did.
Yeah. I'm surprised that you wouldn't do it now. You would never do it now. You wouldn't. You won't leave the house for a bunch.
Hold on, let me close my eyes and think about this real quick. I would do it. Because the whole reason you do it isn't actually for the end result. You know what I mean? Like you'd be in a video store for sometimes an hour just walking with your girlfriend or something, right?
I would. I can't believe you would.
Sure. Yeah, you just walk and walk and you're like and you're just like until eventually you settle on something, right? But when you're checking out and going home, you're not like, now the best part's going to come, right? You're like, that was part of the experience.
That was part of it.
Like, in other words, if you said, I know what movie I want to rent, like, hey, Mom, can you go get it for me? And I'll just meet you at home. You're like, well, I don't want that experience.
Sure.
I want to go do the thing.
I want to look.
Yeah, I want to see that there's 27 Independence Days and there's nothing behind any of them because it's all checked out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. What's kind of funny, we talked a few weeks ago about anticipation, how the anticipation, the lead up of whatever it is sometimes like, first of all, it's a lot more time, right? It's a lot more of an experience or longer of an experience.
It is,
and sometimes it's a bigger or greater experience. I hadn't really thought about how some of the digitization of those things and streaming from versus going to a video store, that like that has completely robbed us of the entire anticipation phase. Like you literally, like the time to drive to a video store, be there for an hour and then drive home, whatever, is longer than the movie.
I know. Well, I mean, think about record stores. I mean, there's still a beautiful, amazing record store in San Clemente that I go to all the time called Moldy Toes. Amazing. But man, like
looking through those,
when a CD would come out or something, and you're like, you know, the release date of that CD. Back then, like not everyone could afford the CD. Okay, so like if one of my buddies bought the new Botch album, and I'm like, okay, you buy that one, I'm gonna buy this one, and like in a week you let me listen to that one, and you're literally letting people borrow stuff to listen to.
This is before you could burn it and stamp it and
what we used to call a burn and return.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's before all that. It's literally like borrowing a CD. I remember Thomas bought this Lagwagon CD for our buddy Ryan for his, I think it was his 14th birthday. And before the birthday party, Thomas is like, I can't wait. I need to listen to this. He unwraps the whole fucking CD and we're just listening to the album.
Before you give it to somebody as a gift?
And so he gave it to him at this open CD at his birthday party. It's like, oh yeah, sorry, dude. I had to listen to it, you know? But I missed that, you know? That was like really, really special. And now it's a bummer because artists will come out with new albums and I'll learn about it like weeks later where it's like, oh dude, have you heard the new Thrice? I'm like, I didn't even know there was a new Thrice, you know, and there's zero effort for me to listen to it. It's like, there it is on Spotify. Like I'll stream it and whatever. Whereas like before it's like, I gotta go buy it. I'm really looking forward to driving to Bionic Records. I don't know if you ever went to a Bionic, but
no, but I went to CD listening bar. I don't know if you ever did those.
What?
CD listening bar where you could go and like listen to the,
like at Virgin Records, you mean?
There was a place called the CD listening bar that was in Laguna Niguel or Laguna Hills. There was another one. There's a few of them, but basically, like I would go there when I was obsessed with Pearl Jam in the late 90s, because I could drive. I was going to you could go and listen to all these like imports and B-sides and stuff that you
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Bionic Records. I mean, I really appreciate first and foremost that you guys aren't like flooding the comments. But this is permission to flood the comments, yeah, and just tell, you know, a little shout out to anyone who knows about Bionic Records.
Yeah, for sure. Talk about Bionic. But my point was a major incumbent in tech like BlackBerry or like Blockbuster or whatever. I don't want to say like that they have permission to have those blind spots, but they're so in charge that it's almost like I get them feeling that it's unthinkable for something to usurp them. I mean, at this point, it's happened so many times that any big company should be thinking about that.
Yeah.
But certainly like a restaurant or a resort, and in places where you've got dozens of other options to go within walking distance, there's no excuse for somebody to be thinking.
What's some advice
that
you'd give to someone who's running a business today? Things are going really well. What's your advice to them?
I mean, I think the secret shopper. No, but yes,
I like that.
I mean, I'm pretty serious. I think it honestly is also like what we talk about, or what I used to help tech founders with, of saying like one of the most important things. Let's say you're creating a mobile app. Like I used to mentor a whole bunch of people when mobile was like really coming up, so everything was mobile. I used to say, stop using it yourself because you know how to use it, right? And you think that things are great. You think it works perfectly. You think the whole experience jives. Throw a party with 25 people, put it in their hands, don't tell them a fucking thing, and watch what happens. They are going to have problems. They're going to see things, and you're going to watch them see things that are shitty experiences because they're going through it. You as a business owner, let's say you're a restaurant, even what we do, you're like, oh no, we've got SOPs set up for all of these things. I know how it should work. And you think in your head, this is how it should work. And it's very easy to just allow yourself to think that is how it is actually working.
Yeah, totally. I remember in the beginning of Client Giant, it was like people, I mean, even now, right, where people can't find something, they're like, yeah, I clicked on the people screen and it's just not there. Like, why would you click on the people screen? You're supposed to click on the services screen.
Yeah.
It's like, doesn't really fucking matter what you're supposed to click on. If everyone's clicking on that, then intuitively that's what they think they should go to, and that's where it should live.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter how I mean, using the example of hospitality, it doesn't matter how I like told the staff to make sure that let's say corporate staff told to make sure that the managers are overseeing the service staff, that the front desk and whatever, that it's supposed to go. What matters is how it's actually being implemented, how it's actually operationalized inside the locations.
Secret shopper.
I mean, yeah, it's probably secret shopper, or it's some way to check and balance everything that's happening there. And I also think in technology and in SaaS, the number one rule is, especially when you're starting, is to shorten the feedback loop. Like literally the most important thing they say is listening to your customers, and customers who are actually paying, not customers who are early and whatever. So it's like begging for feedback. Beg for feedback. And then you can kind of discern what is worth listening to and what isn't. But if there's a large enough group of people that are giving you feedback and you are welcoming it, you're going to start to find trends.
Yeah.
So like the dumbest thing in the world is that you've tried 3 or 4 times to get in touch with somebody in ownership at this restaurant to give them some feedback and they're not even responding.
Right.
I mean, because you have to understand, and people get jaded because so many people complain and everybody thinks that their opinion is the best, right? So people just start to like tune it all out. So many people are going to complain. There's so many people in the comments. There's so many people like giving reviews on my Yelp, on my whatever, that I just got to tune it all out because it's just fucking noise.
Yeah.
That's a kiss of death.
Yeah. I would like to maybe ping Blockbuster, see if they'll get another location open. They still have one in Oregon, I think.
Do they seriously? If
Yeah.
they did that, I would go. If somebody did
There was one, not a Blockbuster, but there was God, what was it called? I forget the name of it, but it was off of Harbor and Wilson in like that strip mall. There was like an America's Cup frozen yogurt place right there, and next to it there was this almost equivalent of like a Red Box, but a huge Red Box, if you will. It was like a small video store, but a big red box almost. You know, so you go in there, everything was done through a type of vending machine, but it was a store. I mean, it was probably like 10 times the size of this room. Okay. And it allowed you to have the experience, even though at the end of the day, it was a vending machine that you're getting a DVD from. But yeah, anyway, that's my story. Maybe we'll get the VCR invention going.
That's
Anything
it.
else? Anything else? That's it. All right.
That's it. Well, that was belabored. As usual, do the like, do the subscribe, hit the ding the bell, and get the notifications. And we'll see you next week.